Hello, greetings. Let's see. Let's see who's here. Welcome to my live, December 18th. Let's see. We got Arizona. Arizona, the feisty state lately. Oh, do tell. Pennsylvania, Virginia, Vesti reporting. Eastern Tennessee. Oh, we got a new member already. Already? Wow. Thanks for becoming a member, Shannon. I just got on here and you're already a member. Massachusetts, Charleston, Colorado. Good to see everybody today. I call this holiday chat about this and that. I've decided to just start calling my lives that because we just end up talking about so many things, right? And, the two main topics I've been talking about are the circus, the updates on the circus, the timeline, the evacuation, whatever, the downfall, the shrinking, the collapsing of the circus, and then also 3iAtlas. And these two topics are kind of coming to a head tomorrow, right? So December 19th is a really big day for both the circus and for 3iAtlas. And so I've really been feeling that anticipation about tomorrow, about December 19th. And, I've been a little under the weather. And, sometimes when I'm under the weather, I try to go into meditation and get information. And my guides are like, yeah, we're just focused on healing. We're not doing information right now. And so I haven't been getting new information. I've just been kind of also being told, well, everything we've been telling you, you see it happening now. Like, just point that out to people that, you know, that the evidence that we're seeing now matches what the guides said. And so that's some of what I've been posting about is like, look at the evidence. And I probably don't do that enough because I'm not really a big fan of, look, I was right. Look, I was right, because of course it's not me anyway. It's just the guides. But if you're new to my channel, let me introduce myself. Okay, I got my name on the thing. Dr. Jennifer Lisa Vest. I am a psychic medium, a medical intuitive, but I am a kind of a Renaissance person. I have a background in philosophy and physics and history. I'm also a poet and an activist. And about a year ago, November, I think it was the 6th of last year, my guides gave me the mission of using these various platforms to talk to people about the spiritual significance of this political moment. And so I've been doing that in the form of posts on TikTok, on YouTube. And I've been trying to help people navigate the situation, trying to help people stay hopeful. I've been using humor with my stories and my Metatron, Not the News. I've also been just sharing predictions and information that I get from my guides. And so I just kind of mix it all up, political commentary, satire, comedy, storytelling, and psychic prediction. And then, of course, I talk about 3iAtlas. And so then I bring in what I know about astrophysics and philosophy as well. And so that's why I'm here. And so thank you all for being here. And I just want to Kimberly said they found me from Linda G. Linda G did have me on her channel once, and so some people found me from her. I know that Libby has sent people to me. There's a wonderful community of psychics online, and we're, getting to know each other. Thank you, Pink Lily, for becoming a member. We got New Jersey in the house, Alabama. Yes, happy holidays. Rhode Island, woohoo! Canada, Connecticut, San Diego, Florida, Nova Scotia in the house. I got to put that one up. Utah, Southwest Washington. This person I think Kimberly has coined someone coined this term vesties, which is funny. Kansas City, Kansas, Colorado, Montana, Vermont, Western North Carolina, Wisconsin. Okay. All right. So I do have some new information I want to share today. And yeah, I'll be looking for questions in the comments. And I hope my mods are here. I have mods, but I don't have it set up where they can put the questions up, just because I haven't figured that out yet. Oh, this person said they found Geoprism through me. Yeah, so a lot of us know each other. We've gotten to know each other in the context of this apocalypse. Thank you for these kind words, Suzanne. And I am going to be trying to pay attention to the super chats so that I can, if you have a question and you want it to kind of go to the front of the line, you can do this thing called a super chat where you make a donation, ask a question, and then it gets my attention. But I do try to answer as many questions as I can. And I just want to thank everybody for liking and sharing and being members and do all the things that you do. I appreciate all of it. We had, oh, Courtney. We had lunch in Providence once. We had lunch more than once, Courtney. I used to live in Providence and I knew Courtney then. I believe you're also an intuitive, right? If I remember correctly. Okay. So let's talk a little bit. I'm going to start with 3iAtlas. And then we'll also talk about the circus and whatever else. Oh, this person wants their credit. It's actually Gaelic who was the first to check in as a vestie. Okay, I did not coin this term, just so we're clear. It must have been Gaelic 1110. Oh, it's hilarious. So it's funny. It kind of relates to what my guides were just telling me. So as I was saying earlier, and for people who just got here, if you don't know how I work, let me talk a little bit about that. So I'm a psychic medium. I work in a lot of different ways. I work with the akashic records. I have a whole lot of guides I work with. I work with angels. I work with star beings. I am a star seed. I go out of my body usually and travel to different places to get information, and then I bring it back. I record the information as I receive it, then I transcribe it, and then I pick things to share. I don't share everything. I'm also told sometimes what to share, what not to share. And now I'm kind of in the habit where I kind of can tell when something is a little, and I'm like, can I share this? So that's the main way I work. I also get information from my dreams. And, but I try to, go into a trance on a regular basis and get information. I don't always get the information that I want. It's pretty much dictated by my guides. I do, of course, go in and ask sometimes for particular things. Like standing question I have with my guides is, do you have any more information about the circus that would be beneficial for me to share with my people? That my people being you. And that's not always, they don't always want to talk about that. Right. So today I got some information about 3iAtlas. I did, and so I'm going to share some of that. If you've been following me, you know that I have on 3 occasions now channeled information about 3iAtlas. I've also been following some of the astrophysics, and I was going to talk a little bit about some updates. One of the things that's happened is that, one of the biggest, one of the only real, really one of the only scientists who's been speaking out about 3iAtlas in a kind of open-minded way is someone from Harvard named Avi Loeb. And then there are some other people like on YouTube who, like there's a geophysicist, I think Stephen Burns, and there are some amateur astronomers and photographers who've been speaking out and collecting data about it. But there's now all of these like fake AI generated channels pretending to be Avi Loeb, saying things he didn't say. And when they first got created, I got fooled because I was like, oh, Avi Loeb has a YouTube channel now. And then I went to his Medium and found out, oh no, these are fake accounts. This is one of the really unfortunate downsides of AI right now, is that there's all of this kind of fraud happening. And so now you have to be much more discerning when you're online about who are you watching. I also have a lot of people that pretend to be me. I don't know if there's an AI version of me yet, but I know that on both TikTok and YouTube, I've had a number of people tell me that other folks pretending to be me reached out to them to sell them readings or get money from them. And so let me just make an announcement right here. That's never going to be me. First of all, I'm not doing readings right now. I'm on a break from working with clients. And so if anyone reaches out to you and says they want to sell you a reading, it is not me. Or if they reach out for any other reason that has to do with money, it's not me. But you know, um, grifter's going to grift. And we live in a society right now where our entire government is being run by con artists. So it's kind of given a lot of con artists the green light to be like, oh yeah, crime is in now. No consequences. um, so, there's that. So I was so yeah, if you see anything online, just try to do your due diligence and make sure that, the source is really what the source says it is. And I know that can be challenging. The great thing about the internet is that it provided us with this democratization of knowledge, right? It used to be that, only certain people had access to certain types of knowledge. You had to be in a university or you had to be at a certain type of job. And now with the internet and with things like YouTube and social media, we have people who can just get on to a platform and share knowledge that in the past, most of us wouldn't have had access to. And this is a great thing. But the downside is that people can also share false information, and it's a little bit harder to figure that out these days, right? Okay, so today I went into a meditation and I asked my usual question, do you have any information that would be beneficial for my audience to hear about the circus or about 3iAtlas or whatever topic you deem important? And they ended up giving me a lot of information about myself, which they sometimes do. And then I started to get information about 3iAtlas, and really not just about 3iAtlas, but about planet Earth. And this is one of the themes that's been recurrent in my conversations, my channelings about 3iAtlas. When I first started asking 3iAtlas, what's your purpose for being here? They were very clear that it was not about us. Humans. It's not about the humans. And they told me that they are here for planet Earth, though, that they're here not just for planet Earth, but also for some other planets in our solar system, and that they're here generally to assist life in the solar system. And so they talked about there being life on various planets like Mars and Jupiter and Venus. And humans are not aware, or I should say certain humans, because I'm aware, certain humans are not aware that there are life forms on these other planets because our scientists have taught us to have a very narrow definition of life. And that narrow definition of life is based on our kind of focus on 3D, right? The 3 dimensions that we live in. And also our very narrow focus, basically on ourselves, so that we are always looking for life that resembles us. We're looking for physical life that has certain traits. And as a result, our scientists and thus our kind of mainstream understanding of life excludes all of the life forms that, cannot be understood in terms of our kind of rubric of what counts as physical life. And so that, that would include things like, energetic life forms. And so they talked about all the different layers of life, energies around planet Earth and all of the different life forms that exist there. And they also talked about the interdimensional beings and the and maybe that's just another way to think about these beings that are at different kind of levels around the Earth. They also talked about beings that live in the ocean. that we're completely unaware of, or most of us are. And so, the information I got today kind of added to that, where they were saying, um, now that they're coming closer, they're not really coming that close to us, right? So they're coming like 1.8 AU astronomical units away from Earth tomorrow. But it's just the closest spot to us that they will be during their entire trajectory, right? They're in this kind of hyperbolic trajectory through our solar system, and then they're leaving. And so on their way out, they're passing by Earth. They already passed by Venus and Mars and the Sun, and I think they're going to pass by Jupiter next. Is it next or last? Sorry, I've forgotten. I've forgotten the order now. So someone correct me in the comments about the order. Oh, we got Kentucky in the house and Minnesota. Just want to add all the names. Colorado. Yeah. So what they were saying is that, when they're coming closer to Earth, I asked about that. I said, is there anything we need to know about tomorrow, right? Tomorrow's a big day. December 19th is a big day for 3iAtlas. It's a big day for the files. What do we need to know about tomorrow? And, they did tell me some stuff that in the past they kind of said I couldn't share. But today I got the green light to share more that relates to their relationship to Earth. And so, one of the things that they told me before was that they know how to manipulate their appearance so that we see what they want us to see. And so what we see is a rock traveling through space, and what they really are is a multidimensional being, and that only part of who they are is visible in the 3D. And they do have a metallic surface, but we can't tell that. But they have been very careful about allowing us to perceive certain data. And so they did tell me that your scientists are well aware that 3iAtlas is not a comet. But the reason they're not sharing that is because they're in a state of great confusion and alarm, because this thing seems to defy the laws of physics, and they don't know what that means, and they're afraid for their careers, and they're afraid for their understanding of the universe being challenged. And so they're kind of all in a dither about these kind of bizarre data that's being collected about this interstellar object. And so, the guides did tell me that, quite a while ago. We don't have confirmation of that yet. We have confirmation. I have seen, and I've shared this before, I have seen now some scientific papers that have said that this thing does not appear to follow the laws of physics. And so we have seen that in terms of evidence. But in terms of anyone from the scientific community besides Avi Loeb coming forward and saying, hey, we don't know what this is, that hasn't happened yet. So there's just been a couple of papers by a couple of scientists who are saying this is not a comet, right? But it's not a lot. It's not a lot. And these are preprints I'm talking about. They're not even published papers yet. They're preprints. And I have talked about those in previous videos. So back to what I was being told today. I was actually talking today to, I think it was, I don't know if it was a whale or it was some kind of giant fish, just like 10 feet across with really thick lips and looking at me like this. It was really cute. So each time I've gotten information about 3iAtlas, I've gotten it from a different source. The first time I talked directly to 3iAtlas, and I was speaking to like the rock or the ship, whatever you want to think of it as. I was speaking to the object itself. I wasn't speaking to beings inside of it. So some people think it has beings inside of it. I was not speaking to those. The second time I tuned in, I spoke to the sun, and the sun gave me information about 3iAtlas because they were having an energetic exchange. 3iAtlas was exchanging energy with the sun, and we did see some evidence of that with a lot of solar jets happening, solar flares happening at the same time that it went by. And then, of course, 3iAtlas has this sun-facing jet. And maybe I haven't shared this yet about the updates on 3iAtlas from the scientists. What they found, I might have shared this, it's just in the last week. What they have found is that this jet, which they're calling an anti-tail, which I think is a ridiculous name, but it's basically like a beam of light that's coming out the front of this object instead of the back. With comets, you have something coming out the back because the solar winds and the heat from the sun causes sublimation, which causes a comet, which is just supposed to be a big icy rock, to melt and then create a tail of dust and I've forgotten the other word. When something melts. Gas. For a moment, I couldn't remember what that word was. So that's that. I'm just noticing this super chat. So I'm going to answer this question next. That's a funny question. Okay, but let me finish my thought. So with a comet, you usually would see dust and debris and gas going out behind it, and it has a long tail, and that's the definition of a comet. It's like an icy rock with a tail. And 3iAtlas doesn't have a tail, or on a few occasions it's had kind of maybe a tail, but then it's had multiple like jets coming in different directions. And what it's had consistently is a jet facing the sun. Okay, so I'm going to pause so I can answer this question. Who adds all the animated characters? Thank you, David, for the donation, for the super chat. Who adds all the animated characters to your videos? Are they made specifically for you? I add them, and I add them in TikTok. So my shorter videos that you see on YouTube, I actually make them in TikTok, and then I upload them to YouTube. And I just do that because TikTok's editor is so easy to use. And I do it also because I can access those little animated figures. And I've just gotten so much positive feedback from people that they really like those animated figures. And so I feel like if I do, like, I also make videos in YouTube, like this one is, I'm making it in Yardstream or StreamYard. So it doesn't have those animations because I don't know how to do that in this platform, in this particular app. So they're not made for me. I just search for them. So there's a bunch of different, animations or cartoon characters or whatever they're called, emojis, that you can search for on TikTok. Now, you can't find everything because of censorship. And unfortunately, there's just so much censorship on TikTok that like they won't have images for a lot of topics. I'm trying to think of an example right now, but I was just thinking about one today that was so ridiculous. Was it today or yesterday, where it's like a current issue? What's going on? Let's see what's going on in the circus right now. I don't know, like, for example, let's say I wanted to look up an emoji for folders, right? Because we're all concerned files. We're all concerned about the files. They do have some for files, but there's a lot of words that you can't look up. And so I have to be really creative. And so I spend quite a bit of time doing that. Like after I record my video, then I go back and I play it and I stop and search for animated, images that I can add that I think will be funny. Especially if it's a heavy topic, I might try to find something that, to kind of balance out the heaviness of the topic. And yeah, so I pick them. I don't create them, but I choose them. And it does take me quite a while to find them for my little 10-minute videos. Okay. So back to, thanks for the question. Somebody says they don't have audio. I'm assuming that's only one person. Does everyone hear me? Let me know that you're hearing me. Okay. So back to 3iAtlas. So it has a headlight. Yeah, someone just said a headlight. Yeah, basically, it's like a headlight. And what's interesting about it, this is a new finding, is that, because it's a rock or who knows what it is, it's rotating. They have measured and found that it's rotating through space, which is kind of typical for things in space that they rotate. And so this 3iAtlas is rotating. Even though it's rotating, though, the headlight, or sometimes it's called the sunward jet or the anti-tail, is always facing the sun. Kind of doesn't make sense, right? So no matter which direction this thing is facing, no matter which way it's oriented, it always has a jet of light of something facing the sun. Very interesting, right? Very interesting. And it seems to confirm what I was told, which is that it has an energetic relationship to the sun. It's like getting energy from the sun, giving energy to the sun. There's something going on there between 3iAtlas and the sun. And so they don't really understand this sunward jet, and they especially don't understand it now that how could it possibly always be facing the sun when this thing is rotating, right? It's just doing a lot of things that people can't really make sense of, in terms of the laws of physics. Here's another question. David Hayes, thank you for the donation. Since we have ruled out that 3iAtlas is not a comet, have we ruled out Cupid, Donner, and Blitzen, or Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, or Rudolph? I think Rudolph might be the best candidate because of the shiny nose. What's with this sunward jet, right? We have not ruled out any of that. Really, nothing's been ruled out, but also we can safely say that nothing has been ruled in. And that's where the problem lies, right? They don't have enough data that confirms the hypothesis of this being a comet. There's also not enough data to confirm the hypothesis that it's an artificial object like a spaceship. There's a lot of data that's confusing, basically, and doesn't seem to confirm anything. So, this is Spiritual Hack says because it is electromagnetic. Now, I have heard there is a paper out. I talked about it in a video maybe like a week or two ago. There is a video, a scientific paper that's been put out. It's a preprint by some astrophysicists who claim that it's a plasma body, that 3iAtlas is a plasma, which would mean it would be an electromagnetic kind of orb. And they came up with this hypothesis, and then they, in their article, they said, well, most of the evidence we have so far matches this hypothesis that this is a plasma. This object is made of plasma. It's electromagnetic. So that was really interesting. Now, we did have all those orbs on planet Earth, back in December. Here's another theory. Headlight is a solar tractor beam. Is it trying to grab a hold of the sun and move it, or is the sun trying to track 3iAtlas? Let's hope they don't take our sun away. We have another psychic here, Shannon Davis, who says that as a psychic, she feels that tomorrow is going to be different somehow. Yeah, I definitely feel like it's going to be different. I mean, we have two big things happening tomorrow. 3iAtlas is coming closest that it will ever come to. Now, we don't know. According to the trajectory that's been created by the scientists, where they think it's going, we don't know that we really know that. This person says, okay, David Gallic says, okay, we're going to now refer to it as Rudolph. Oh yeah, no one's talking about Wingman. I haven't kept up with Wingman Wingman, that was a nickname I gave to oh God, now I forgot the real name. Someone remind me of the real name of Wingman. So it's another object that was near 3iAtlas, and they were saying maybe it was another comet. And they were calling it, it was also picked up by Atlas, so it also had the name Atlas in its name, but I forget the full name. Oh, I got to keep up with these. Okay, here's another super chat question from I am Eloa. I'd love to know what you think it will take for the scientists that do know for them to actually be honest with us. It takes bravery, you know. Somebody called this the Copernicus effect that we're dealing with right now. It takes bravery to challenge the accepted paradigm, right? It takes a lot of bravery because, you know, you could be ridiculed, like, you know, people are ridiculing Avi Loeb, like other scientists are ridiculing him. Fortunately, he's well established. He runs a couple of institutes. He's at Harvard. I think his career is safe. For a lot of scientists, their career isn't safe. If they say something, they're afraid they might lose their job, or they might not get another job, or they might lose their funding. So what's it going to take? What's it going to take? One thing that could happen is if there's data that indisputably disconfirms the comet hypothesis in a way that they can't deny. So, like right now, there are all these amateur astronomers who are saying, well, hey, wait a minute, right? But they don't have any status, right? And so what we really need is for somebody with status at a university, at an observatory, to say, yeah, this data doesn't match that hypothesis. So yes, they need courage. I think one thing that might help is if some of these scientists started having kind of a spiritual awakening, or their intuitive gifts started coming on board or developing more. You know, what I was told during one of my channelings, I think it was with 3iAtlas, was that Avi Loeb has been chosen. He's a starseed, and it's a part of his life purpose to kind of sound the alarm. And so we've always had throughout history, we've had scientists, you know, like Tesla, like Einstein, who were scientifically trained and gifted, but also intuitively connected. And, you know, that's actually why they were able to make breakthroughs, because they had another source of information. And so this is what we need, right? We need an intuitive scientist who's brave, who can receive information intuitively, as well as looking at empirical data, you know. As I often say, in the future, the way of the future, the epistemology of the future is such that we're going to seriously consider various sources of knowledge, intuitive sources of knowledge, mystical sources of knowledge, as well as empirical and logical sources of knowledge. And right now, we live in a society where there's a type of dogmatism that suggests that, you know, the scientific method is the only method, or the best method. We may allow that logic is also rationalism is also a valuable way to get knowledge, but you know, we reject intuition and mysticism, and you know, that's going to change, and it has to change, because we're really missing out, right? We're not evolving as quickly as we could if we didn't have this kind of dogmatism and this kind of blindness about these other sources of knowledge. Okay, so I did have more information I wanted to share from today, but I'm trying to like answer questions and also tell you with what I got today, and I'm going to try to go back and forth. So no, Margaret, I started to, and I'm in the middle of that, sharing what I got today, and then I was stopping to answer questions. So let me continue that. So I just spoke to them today, and earlier, like a few weeks ago when I first started talking to 3iAtlas, they did give me some information about their relationship to Earth, and they told me not to share it. And the reason they told me not to share it is because we are very warlike. I mean, it's crazy, but we are. We're a warlike people. We're violent. We're all about conquest and greed, and we're pre-conscious. We're considered like a pre-conscious planet. And they're waiting for us to evolve. So I've had, communications with galactic alliances and beings from different planets, and they've, this is where I've gotten some of this, and other people have gotten the same information, that they want us to join like a galactic federation alliance, whatever, but we can't join because we're too warlike. So when they were first talking about what are they going to do with relationship to Earth, they said, you can't share this because if they think that we're coming to Earth, they're going to immediately, like humans are going to immediately like get out their weapons and start firing, weapons at us. and I did hear something about that, about some other asteroid or something that was near planet Earth, and they were trying to shoot missiles at it or something. So yeah, we got a bad track record. Thank you everybody for these super chats. And also if you want to donate, you can buy me a coffee with that little QR code right there. I think I have another question I didn't get from Tati Gem. Hi from Fresno. Sorry I'm late to the party. Have a treat on me. Happy holidays. Oh, thank you for the treat. I love treats. I love treats. In fact, I'm making treats today for the holidays. I'm making cookies and pies. Okay, so back to what they said. So 3iAtlas said that their focus is not humanity, but they are concerned about the other life forms on planet Earth. And they're concerned about them because, we humans have created a lot of pollution, and we've really messed with our planet, and it's really negatively impacting other life forms, which isn't fair, because who are we to, mess up the ecosystems of other life forms, right? And today they were reminding me that we are not the main life form on planet Earth. We think we are. We think we're the apex life form, but we're not. And one of the things they reminded me that they wanted me to share with you is that, this is a water planet. This is a water planet that has islands of land in it. This is not a land planet with lakes. We think that because we're so focused on ourselves that we think, oh, it's all about the land, and then there's some water out there. Well, in fact, it's a water planet. The majority of the planet is water. And the land bases are small by comparison. And they said, because we don't seem to understand that, we're really focused on land, and we don't really understand the water. We don't understand the oceans. We don't understand what's in them. And there are all these life forms in the ocean that we are completely ignorant about. The oceans are quite vast, and there are so many beings that live in the oceans. And they said, as long as we were kind of polluting the land base, I mean, that was a problem, but it really has become more of a problem now because we are now really negatively impacting the water. And what they said was, you could have polluted all of the land bases on your planet and the planet would be fine because the planet is a water planet. But now that you've started polluting the water to such an extent, you are now putting all of the life forms on planet Earth in danger. And so part of why 3iAtlas is coming near Earth, nearish, the same reason they're coming by a lot of planets. And they have an interest in a lot of these planets, Venus and Mars and Jupiter, but they have an interest in Earth because they have a connection to the beings in the water, and they're interested in helping to help solve that problem. And so they talked to me in particular about, this was a while ago, about how the surface of the ocean, it's like the top layer of the ocean is in really bad shape right now. And because of stuff that we've done, but also we're doing something like our military, and I think they meant the United States military is using some type of technology. I don't know if it's lasers or what it is, that they're pointing at the surface of the ocean. And it's kind of like a scan, like they're trying to look down into the ocean by using some type of technology, kind of like x-rays or sonogram, or it's something like that, where when you want to look at something through something, like an MRI. And they're using some kind of technology to try to look inside the ocean, but that technology is killing the life forms on the top of the ocean. So there's a problem with the top of the ocean. And the beings that live in the ocean, especially the what we think of as ETs, right? The beings that are, sentient and quite intelligent, more intelligent than us, actually. The underwater beings are very concerned about the damage that we are doing to the ocean. And so 3iAtlas is actually here to assist with that. And I think I might be missing a question. Here's another question. Oh, David, I think you've asked me a couple. Thank you for another super chat question. So we had Arthur C. Clarke in 1973 writing Rendezvous with Rama. So at least one scientist thought about possibilities. Rendezvous with Rudolph. David's hilarious. I do love Arthur C. Clarke. I don't remember that particular story, but as a kid, I read, my mom, had all this science fiction, and I read everything that she had. Philip P. Dick, Arthur C. Clarke. I read a lot of those things. Oh, look at this. Thank you. I am Eola. Sorry. I am Eloa. Gifted 5 memberships. I don't really know how that works, but thank you. I think that means that 5 people now have memberships to my channel. I don't know how people get the memberships, but I'm grateful. So thank you. And here's another super chat from David Hayes again. Thank you, David. I'm very concerned that bed bugs are the highest form of life on Earth. I've been killing a lot of them just because they like how I taste. Oh. All right, so back to thank you for the comedic relief. We cannot get enough of that. Am I right? We cannot get enough laughter right about now. Okay, so what they were explaining to me is that 3iAtlas is here to assist. They want to help the water. They want to help the water beings. They want to help life on Earth, but their focus is not humans, but we will benefit. We will benefit from what they're doing because, we're a mess, and what we're doing to the Earth is a mess. But they're not like physically coming down here. So, and if they were, they wouldn't tell us because we would try to shoot them. But they are doing something to assist us. And one thing they said I could share is that there will be something that looks like a meteor shower. And with a meteor shower, you have kind of like little rocks falling from space, right? Sometimes they're big rocks. And most people, they're usually not an issue unless the rocks are too big and they're going to damage somebody. But what they said is that these meteor showers are going to hit the ocean, not land. And as a result of that, people are probably not going to be alarmed, and hopefully our military is not going to try to do anything about it. But they did say that these meteor showers, these rocks that are falling, are not just rocks, and they are actually healing objects that are going to assist us. They're going to assist the planet, not so much humans, but they're going to assist the planet. And so we should look for that. And they told me it was okay to share that because, oh, someone said it's going on now. It's going on now. Leonids, Deanna, kissing frogs. Where is Leonids? I don't know where Leonids is. Okay. Yeah, I remember that commercial about the Native American standing on the edge of the creek talking about pollution with a tear running down his eye. I actually included him in a poem I wrote. Yeah, they did want me to urge everybody to find a way to contribute to cleaning up the oceans. Do what you can. If you can join a beach cleanup, if you can donate to an ocean conservancy charity, something that's helping sea life, something that's helping clean the rivers or the lakes, anything that you can do to contribute, either in terms of your volunteer work or your charity, even if it's just $1, they really encourage everybody to do something because we're all responsible. We've all contributed to the problem. Even if you think you have it, you have. We've all contributed to it. Even, things like AI, things like the food that we eat, the way it's packaged. If you eat tuna fish, right, you've contributed to damage to the oceans because of the way tuna is fished. There are so many ways in which we've all been complicit, whether we want to be or not. And so we're all responsible. And so we can all do something about it. If each one of us does something, like I do some beach cleanup sometimes, I sometimes donate to some ocean organizations. I've done turtle rescue. I'm just giving these as examples because they're just like so many different things that you can do. There's actually, if you don't have money and if you don't have the physical ability to help, there's a YouTube channel. I think it's called Ocean Conservancy. What's it called? Ooh. See, I just got this information right before I came on live, and so I didn't have time to look up the channel. But can someone look it up for me? I'll see if I can look it up real quick. And so if you find a channel where they're donating conservation, I'm going to try to find it. This particular channel, here it is. It's in Namibia. So I'm going to share it in the, it's called Ocean Conservation Namibia. Is this the right one? And they have all these videos of seals being rescued from fishing lines. And that's how I started watching them. But, when you watch a channel like this and they get a certain number of views and likes and comments, they then earn money from that. And all of that money goes to helping with rescuing sea life that we're harming with our activities, right? And so sometimes you can just do something like that, where if you just watch some of those seal rescue videos every day and like and comment on those videos, you'll be contributing to that organization and helping them to help all of those seals. So I put it in the chat. Can you see it? Oh, here it is. So here's one example, Ocean Conservation Namibia. And they have all these videos of them like pulling fishing lines off of seals it's sad, but it's also encouraging because they're saving these seals because they're gonna die if they don't get the fishing line off of them. And so they grab these seals and they take the lines off, and then they release them. And you can donate to them, or you can just watch their videos, and that's, so there's lots of little things like that, right, that you can do to help the oceans. And this is one of the messages I got today specifically from this sea being that was talking to me, mystically. I was out of my body having a conversation. And they said, we can all do something. And so just figure out what that is, that you can do to help clean up our oceans and help rescue and save the sea life from us, basically. Okay, so there's more. I'm trying to remember it. So usually the way I work is I go into an altered state, I get information, and while I'm in that altered state, I actually have my recorder, my phone, and I'm recording it. And so I speak aloud what I'm getting, right? So like as I'm talking to this sea creature, I'm then speaking aloud what I'm hearing the sea creature say to me in my mind. I speak it aloud on the recording, and then I transcribe that, and then I read it, and then I turn that into a post, right? Well, right now what I'm doing is trying to just remember what they told me a half an hour before I went live, because I went into meditation right before this live to ask if there was any new information I should share. So I'm trying to remember it just from what they told me. So let me see what else they told me. It's going to be a meteor shower. And so, yes, tomorrow is a significant day, because tomorrow is when they are going to release this meteor shower, and they are going to be, the way they explained it was, this meteor shower is going to drop some objects. We'll just call them objects. We can think of them as rocks that are healing. And so like they have medicine in them, and healing in terms of like environmentally healing. And they're going to go into the oceans, and they might go into the rivers and lakes. They're going to go into the waterways. Here's another person I need to thank. I said Francis, thank you so much for the $2.99 super sticker. And I hope I'm noticing all the gifts, because I don't want to not say thank you to somebody. Here's a new member. Thank you, Kitten Sync Music, for your membership. I appreciate it. And let me just scroll up and make sure I haven't missed anything. Oh, here we go. David. Every time he asks a question, he gives me a donation. That's very, very generous of you, David. In a series of books, Rama was a vacant generational spaceship passing through our solar system that Earth sent scout ships to explore. Oh, okay. That is kind of similar to 3iAtlas. So let me talk a little about that, since you brought it up, David. When I first asked 3iAtlas if it was a spaceship, they said, it's okay if you think of us as a rock hurtling through space, because humans are not afraid of rocks. They're afraid of everything else, but they're not afraid of rocks. We're not afraid of comets, right? Unless they come too close to us. And so, but I asked, but are you a spaceship? Like, are there people inside? And the answer I got was not a really, clear yes or no, because, sometimes it's like that when you're talking to beings from other places or dimensions, or even when you're just talking to rocks. I talk to rocks. You want to talk to like this crystal. This is my favorite crystal. Talking to them, it's like, it's a different way of communicating. They're operating in a different dimension, different, it's different. So when I was asking about this, and remember, I'm talking to the object itself, or the ship, or the comet, or the interstellar object. I'm not talking to a little green man. They said, well, we're a multidimensional object. So being sentient object, sentient being, or sentient rock. These are all different ways they said you can describe us. but not really naturally occurring. So this is not a just natural object going through space because they did show me that their surface is metallic. So the surface is what we would call manufactured. It's not naturally occurring. But they said, we're multidimensional. And so the part of us that you can see, that you can perceive, that you're aware of is in what you call 3 dimensions. And they kind of laughed at our calling our reality 3 dimensions. And they said, we exist in other dimensions. And so what you can see of us is going to look like this little metallic kind of ball hurtling through space. And they said, but there's another part of us in another dimension that has beings in it. And so, I'm not sure what to make of that. I feel like, the answers that I've gotten are don't really fit neatly into one of these categories. Like, I wasn't told this is a spaceship with aliens in it. That's not what I ever got. I also was told very clearly it's not a comet. And this is for entertainment purposes only, YouTube. I am not a scientist. I do have a degree in science, but I am not a current professional practicing astrophysicist. So I don't claim to be an expert on what a comet is. But intuitively, this is what they told me. I am a psychic medium, and so I'm reporting on what I picked up intuitively. And so the way they described themselves was something that's really kind of hard to understand, right? It's like, kind of get the feeling that it's a ship because it's metallic, but then they said, oh, but we're a rock, we're a sentient rock. We exist in other dimensions. In the dimension that you can perceive us, we're kind of like a rock, but in other dimensions, there are beings involved. And I kind of got the feeling not so much that it was like beings inside a ship, but that there were beings involved with this mission. So that this is a directed mission. This is not a random rock hurtling through space. This is a mission that has to do with beings from another dimension who are here to help our solar system. And they're here to help all of the life forms in the solar system. They're not focused on humans, but they are particularly interested in the oceans of planet Earth because they're in bad shape, which is negatively impacting some beings that they know who live in our oceans. Beings that we don't know that live in our oceans. Okay. And so, Warm Fuzzy Vibes sent me a $5 super sticker. Thank you. I love that name. Have I gotten all the, here's another, David. Here's another question from David. You are being very generous with your super chats. Rather than removing the floating plastic, they could bind it together, put topsoil on it, and create a floating island that will rise with sea levels. 2 problems, 1 solution. That's an interesting idea. I have heard about something similar where they are binding the plastic together into these like trash islands and then removing them. So there's something similar to that going on. Let me get back to, here's another. I want to make sure I acknowledge all of the super chats. I really appreciate these, especially at Christmas, because, I'm buying gifts for people. Thank you for speaking so clearly and candidly on 3iAtlas. I feel validated. Thank you, Unarthub. Thank you for that. In my family, we try not to get too caught up in the commercialism. And so we buy thrift store gifts, used books, and then we make things. But even still, I make a lot of food and, baked goods, and I do a lot of cooking, and it's still a lot of money. Even if you don't go to a big box store and buy a bunch of shiny new stuff, it still adds up. So I appreciate all of the donations. Okay. I'm trying to remember everything I got today. So for people who are just tuning in, I got some new information about 3iAtlas that I'm sharing. And I know I'm supposed to be sharing about the circus too. And I hope that I've acknowledged all the super chats. I I think I have. Hold on. If I haven't, you could put something in the comment and say, did I acknowledge this person? I said Francis. Thank you for the super sticker, in case I didn't acknowledge you already. Okay. I think so. I think so. They're mostly from David. David's very oh, here's one. I don't think I acknowledged this one. You Narthub, $5. Thank you. So that's the seeding. I keep seeing in my vision and readings. Oh, yeah. So you're right. You're right. I didn't think about that language, seeding, but that does match what they showed me. Yes, that would be the same thing that I saw, because I saw these meteorites, these little things falling down and going into the oceans and providing healing. And so I think seeding probably is a good name for that. It's funny because side note on what it's like to be a psychic. The way that I work, a lot of times the way I get information is I get information in a way that usually either it uses language I'm not familiar with, or it's something that I don't really already know, and or words I don't know, or and a lot of times they work that way with me because of my skepticism. I would when I first, especially when I first started doing this work, I was so afraid that I was going to be confusing my imagination with my psychic, that the way that I always had to work was I had to get information in such a way that there's no way it could have come from my brain, right? Like it wasn't like something I already knew. And so sometimes what that means is I'll get something and it doesn't use the language that's popular, or the language that other psychics are using, or the language that is from a sci-fi movie, because um if I get it that way, then I'll doubt. I don't really doubt that much these days, but I still have that kind of way of working. But it's funny because now that you're saying the word seeding, I do feel like I've heard other people talk about seeding, but I can't remember what context in which I heard it. I'm not quite able to recall that, but um, I probably wouldn't have gotten that word because I have heard it somewhere before. You know what I mean? Um, one of the things I do too is I go online and I do watch other psychics. Like I have a few people I like to watch. I like to watch Erica and the Company of Cards. I like to watch Susan Lynn. I like to watch Linda G. I like to watch Linda G is really funny, and humor is important. Plus, she's native like me. I like to watch Libby, Meister Tarot, um, and then on TikTok, Gia Prism, and what I do when I listen to other psychics is I'm trying to tune in claircognizantly. So claircognizance is clear knowing. And the gift of claircognizance is one where you get a sense of things being either true or false, yes or no. And you don't really use any senses. So like clairvoyance, you see things. Clairaudience, you hear things. Clairsentience, you feel things. But claircognizance, you just have this knowing. And one of the ways that you can use that gift, if you have it, is to like scan information and get a sense intuitively of whether or not it's true. So I use this to read, I'm a scholar, so I read a lot of books, and have a lot of degrees. And so I spent my life reading books. And whenever I decide to start a new topic, like, oh, I wanted to learn about, like when I started working with the Akashic records years ago, I didn't know they were called that. And then when somebody said, oh, that's called the Akashic records, this place that I was going to with this big library, I then started like reading every book I could find on the Akashic records. Well, when I'm doing that kind of work, when I'm reading, I'm using my claircognizance to kind of sense what part of it's true and what's false. Because of course people write books and say things and they're not always true. And it's not always because they're lying, it's because they just don't know, right? And so when I'm listening to other psychics, what I do is I'm kind of listening with my claircognizance to see if something feels true to me, or vibes with me, or resonates with me, right? Different ways of saying it. And that doesn't mean that I'm in any position to say, um, to evaluate who's telling the truth and who's not, or who's a better psychic than who. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that for me as a psychic, if I listen to another psychic, I have to have some discernment um, about about what they're saying. Um, and I do it because it makes me feel less alone. Like if I go and listen to Susan Lin, like a lot of times when I go listen to Susan Lin, I'm just like, yes, 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 yes. Like we are totally on the same page in terms of what we're picking up. We're picking up the same information. And there may be other psychics where when I listen to them, I'm like, yeah, I'm not getting any of that. Doesn't mean they're not right. It's just that it's not vibing with what I'm getting. So we're not working in the same way. But I do find that when I listen to other psychics and they're getting stuff that's similar to what I'm getting, and also if I'm just tuning in and listening to them and it's kind of like I'm getting a yes from my guide saying, yes, yes, they're right. They're right about that. They're right about that. I kind of use that as verification also for my own work. So, even though, I'm an intuitive, I also have a background in science. I'm a former professor of philosophy. And so I really like evidence. I like verification. I like, if there are two or three of us getting the same information, I think it's more likely to be accurate. I do believe in that. I do believe in, certain, aspects of the scientific method, like, and I think we could apply some of those methodologies to psychic work, just like I think we should apply some of the elements of psychic work to science. And some people have, like Einstein, he was an intuitive. So he wasn't just looking at data and calculating, doing math problems. He was also having dreams. And um, so I do feel like the more of us get the same information, the more likely it is to be true. And that's because none of us are 100% accurate. We all have our blind spots. We all have things that we get some things that we're not good at getting, and our biases and our filters. But there's like this Venn diagram, right? If you have like 5 psychics, there's a Venn diagram of everything that we all got in the middle. That stuff's gonna be, I think, guaranteed true. We all got it. We didn't all get the same thing, but we all got those 3 things. Um, and so some people have asked me, like, well, why is it that different psychics are getting different things, like with regard to 3iAtlas? And there's a lot of different reasons for that. Sometimes it just has to do with how developed a person is. Nowadays, anybody can start a YouTube channel or a TikTok account. You don't have to have any training, right? And a lot of people will just overestimate their ability. I see this all the time where a person takes a weekend class or they take a few classes. Oh, I took a few classes on remote viewing and now I'm a remote viewer. And it's like, really? Because the remote viewers who work for the government, they actually spent years in training. I have spent my whole life in training. I've had many teachers and taken many classes. But some people, they just want to kind of, oh, I was born with these gifts. I don't have to develop them. And if you don't develop your gifts, you can get things wrong because um, there's a reason why, like, indigenous cultures throughout the world always had protocols and rituals and training programs for the development of psychic gifts. Um, I was trained in different contexts, and I was trained sometimes by indigenous teachers who taught me in the context of ceremony and ritual, and you do this and and you always do it this way. And I think that's really valuable because, like, whenever I sit down to get information, I always, burn my herbs, say my prayers. Um, I always do an, inventory of where I'm at emotionally and physically. I don't work when I'm not well. Um, and if I get information when I'm not well, I know to take it with a grain of salt because I'm not going to be getting the best information if I'm not well emotionally or physically. Those are all things I was taught by my teachers. I'm very much an ethical psychic. I have a book by that name, which I'm always forgetting to promote, and it's too far for me to reach. um, but I have a book called The Ethical Psychic. You can find it anywhere. And, I wrote that book because I was trained by people who really emphasize the importance of ethics. But there are a lot of people who never had a teacher to train them in ethics. And so when you don't pay attention to ethics, then you can start you can become inaccurate, you can abuse your power, you can misinform people. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. You can hurt yourself when you don't follow certain ethical protocols. We've got almost 600 people in here. Amazing. Okay, so I see now there's more super chats that I have to attend to. Another one from David Hayes. So do you prefer 3iAtlas with beans or without beans? To quote Casablanca, the problems of us people don't amount to a comet of beans passing this crazy world. David's got a lot of jokes today. A lot of jokes. We like the jokes. Okay, here's another one. Thank you for 4 wagging tails. Look at the cutie pies. So cute. Slightly off topic, asking all in your community to send love and light to Libby and her mom. That's from Meister Tarot. Thanks. Yeah. Oh, thank you for saying that. I haven't watched her the last couple of days, but I know that like a week ago that she had traveled to, I think, New Zealand to take care of her mom, and that her mom is dying. She's in the last so I haven't seen the update the last few days, but her mother has cancer, I believe. And Libby's been kind of going back and forth, taking care of her for the last, I think, year or so. And I think the doctors are now saying there's nothing else they can do. And so, yeah, let's send Libby and her mom healing. I can tell you from my own experience that losing your mother is devastating. No matter what your relationship is. I lost my mother last year, and we didn't have the best relationship, but it's still just catastrophic to lose your mother. It doesn't matter how really you might think, oh, we're not as close as other people might be with their mother. It's very hard to lose your mother. So yeah, we got to send her a lot of healing. It's going to be hard on her. Coringe, thank you for the donation. I really appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate you too. Thanks for being here. Okay. Yeah, she's staying at her mom's house. That's what I saw. She lives in Australia, but she's in New Zealand right now at her mom's house. Okay. So, someone else has already read my book. Francis said, I'm so glad I've read Ethical Psychic, really useful for light workers of many gifts. Okay, maybe I can reach it. Where is it? I move my light. Okay. All these careful lights. Hopefully they're still in place. All right. These are all my books. Here's The Ethical Psychic, if you're interested. And then I have other books, like this is a Native American philosophy book called Sovereign Wisdom. All right, but back to 3iAtlas. So maybe we should switch to the Circus soon. But I'm mostly talking about 3iAtlas because I just got all this information. All right, so I may have shared it, or maybe all that I can remember. So let's talk about the Circus. Let's switch gears. So I didn't get any new information today about the Circus, like intuitively. I didn't get like a new download. But I did a post today about just kind of reminding people of the spiritual significance of what we're going through politically. And, that's been my, my mission, what I've been tasked with. And I do feel like we have to keep reminding ourselves, especially when things get challenging. And so like we got some bad news today that, even though there were all of these red hats who were willing to cross the aisle and vote with the blue hats to make sure that we could keep our health insurance. Mikey with the Little Johnson just like shut down the whole chamber to prevent a vote, something like that. So this guy, he's always doing illegal stuff, and he is losing his support, which is the good news. The bad news is he's still in the position, and because he's aligned with the circus so strongly, he doesn't really believe in the rule of law. That's kind of one of the traits of the circus is they don't believe in the Constitution. They don't believe in the Bill of Rights. They don't believe in checks and balances, right? And so he actually stopped them from voting. And so we're in this, and I was just about to celebrate because we got the news just yesterday that they were going to go ahead and extend it. And now he made it so it was impossible for them to do that. And this is going to be catastrophic for those of us who have serious health issues and rely on our health insurance. And I'm going to be honest for a moment about this. I'm a little confused by this because intuitively, like I'm going to be really negatively impacted if this happens because of my health profile. And yet this whole time that they've been talking about doing this, I have been feeling very peaceful. And I felt like one way or another, we're going to keep them. We're going to keep the ACA. What's the word? I forget. Premiums or what is it? The money that the government pays to make it affordable. We're going to keep it. And as of yesterday, it looked like that was the case. And so I'm a little confused today about how he cheated and did this because it doesn't match what I'm picking up. And like intuitively, I feel like it's going to work out. But yeah, if it doesn't, here someone is just telling us, their premium is going to triple. That's what you've been told, Amanda. Yeah, it's going to be really catastrophic if subsidies, that's what they're called, the ACA subsidies are not extended. So I don't know. There might be a Hail Mary. I mean, we have a few more days. We have what, like 12, 13 more days before the year ends. Maybe something's going to happen. I mean, people have been getting creative. Have you noticed that? So like these discharge petitions, this is a very creative thing that people are doing to try to get around the kind of lawless kind of bullying of Mikey. And so that's what they tried to do today with the discharge petition. And then he just closed the whole chamber down, which is one of the things he's been doing, right? So I don't know what else they have up their sleeve, but maybe something else creative is going to happen. Yeah, so I did want to mention that. Now the other thing that I've been thinking about that has to do with this bigger picture and like the things that I've been told by my guides for the last year is, they kept telling me from the beginning, we have to go through some things. And that enough people have to go through enough things in order for them to wake up and for us to have a critical mass of people that evacuate the circus. And, it feels like it's taking forever. And there are a lot of people waking up. A lot of people have left Magatonia. A lot of people, red hats, have, defected. We have a lot of resignations happening. We have a lot of big name red hat people who have broken ranks with the circus, MTG, Candace Owens. Now I'm forgetting. I've talked about him in previous posts. There's so many people who have become critical and broken ranks. We even have this, chief of staff who's leaking information that makes them look bad. So we have a lot of evidence that their bases, they've lost their base, their support is fracturing in their community. A lot of people are jumping off the ship. And we also are seeing a lot of evidence that people are starting to unify, that people are starting to unlearn some of their beliefs. So, part of why they thought they'd be able to get away with this program of kidnapping people and torturing and denying people their rights just on the basis of ethnicity and skin color was that they were counting on racism, right? And anti-immigrant attitudes and anti-Mexican attitudes, right? They were counting on that. And unfortunately, that is a big part of our country. A lot of people have those sentiments, but that's changing. So we are seeing that, right? In real time. We're seeing people overcome their biases. We're seeing people say, you know what? I used to think these bad thoughts about Mexican Americans, but now that I see what's happening to them, I realize, they're people like me, right? You're having this evolution happening in people's consciousness where they're like, you know what? Those are my neighbors. Those are the people I do business with. They don't deserve to be treated this way. We're seeing this right now in Minneapolis, right, where people are stopping the kidnapping. Some of them are trying to stop the people from kidnapping the Somalians, because that's the newest target, right? We're going after the Somalians now. People who are refugees. I mean, it's just so heartless. People who came here because they couldn't stay in their home country because they were refugees from starvation or from war. I mean, it's just I don't understand how anyone can do that to somebody. I mean, someone shows up at your door because they've just survived some horrendous tragedy and you tell them, "No, we're not going to help you." Or, "Oh, we're going to help you for like a few months and then we're going to kick you out in the street and we're going to, like, who does that? It's really hard for a lot of us empaths to take this heartlessness. But the heartlessness is only possible if there are enough accomplices, right? And so that's what happened in Germany. There's a great book that I always like to talk about. I think it's called The Willing Executioners. Someone correct me if I have the name wrong. And it's this very thick tome, a scholarly tome that I read years ago when I was a postdoc, about the reason that Smittler was able to succeed with his project is because there were so many everyday Germans who went along with it. They didn't push back. And the book is all about analyzing that mindset. And so a lot of it was built on, prejudices. Like, people had these prejudices. Sometimes they were conscious, sometimes they're unconscious. And he relied on that, right? He went after homosexuals. He went after immigrants. He went after gypsies. He went after Jewish people, right? He went after Black people. He went after all of these groups where there were biases already in the community. And he said, they're not like you. These people aren't like you. So it's okay if we harm them because they're not like you, right? And they can't succeed unless everyday Americans sit idly by and go along with it or cooperate with it. Flashyism only works with cooperation. And so we're going through this process right now. And this is the bigger picture. This is why this is happening now, is because we need to, as a country, unlearn a lot of our discriminatory and biased belief systems, right? We have a history of mistreating certain groups of people. And it's a part of our mythos. It's a part of our ethos. It's in the water, right? It's a part of our media. It's a part of our history books. We're taught to think a certain way about certain people. And we are being challenged right now to unlearn that real fast because he's going through groups. He's going to get to your group eventually, right? If you think he's not, you're lying to yourself. he's going through groups, right? They're going after women. They're going after gays. They're going after transgenders. They're going after immigrants, right? First certain immigrants, now other immigrants. They're going after, right now they're going after belief systems, right? So they're now trying to define terrorism as being an anti-fascist or being believing in gender equality or gay rights. They're actually trying to redefine, right? So they're going after beliefs as well. And they're going after healthcare, which is going to affect like at least half of the country who doesn't have private, unsubsidized healthcare. Tell me if I'm wrong about that. Is it more than half? I know it's at least half, but it might be more than that. Right? Oh yeah, thanks. Somebody is in here saying, hit the like button. Hands yellow, heart red. Oh, what does that mean? Hands yellow, heart red. I don't know what that means. Oh, what is this? Spiritual hacks and women. Oh, I don't know what that refers to. That's probably a conversation that didn't include me, because I know you have your own conversations in the chat. I'm going to stop talking for a minute and look at the chat to see if there are questions I should be answering. Oh yeah, here's another authoritarian move. He's trying to change the name of the Kennedy Center. Okay, so when I saw this today, what I got intuitively is just a reminder that these really extreme, awful things are happening, to get our attention so that we, get serious in our resistance. But also the message I was getting is, they're destroying so many things, right? They're just creating so much damage that it's not going to be a situation where once we get them out of office and we get someone else in office that we can fix everything and go back to the way it was. That's not going to happen. And it's not supposed to happen because the purpose of this particular supervillain is to be a catalyst for us to make some serious changes that need to be made. Now, he's not making the changes that we need, but the fallout from the destruction of the circus and the revelation that's coming out of the circus is going to force us to be more reflective and to redo things and change things and do them differently in the future. And this is why the Epy Files are so important. So we had some more photos dropped today. And from the Blue Hat House Oversight Committee, they have 95,000 photos and they're dropping them slowly. And what Robert Garcia, who's my rep, and he's one of the spokespeople for the House committee, said recently to the press is that if they do not release the files on Friday, as they're required to do, that this committee is then going to release a bunch of very damaging and disturbing photos. So that will be happening tomorrow. So one way or the other, stuff's being released tomorrow. Disturbing stuff will be released tomorrow. And so we have a lot going on tomorrow. Energetically, it's a new moon. 3iAtlas is going to be sending out a meteor shower tomorrow and energetically impacting us. And then we're going to have some type of release tomorrow of disturbing material related to the abuse of children and women and children. And so it's a very big day for us tomorrow. And I think it's a very good day. I think it's a day of progress. Because what many of us have seen is that the release of this information related to Epy is contributing to the downfall of the circus. It's not just the case that Head Clown is in the files. It is the case that he was a partner in this bad traffic ring. And so this newest lawsuit that came out of West Palm Beach alleges that our supervillain had his own bad traffic ring that was identical to the Epy ring. And the person filing that lawsuit is one of his victims. Now that matches what my guide said a long time ago, and that was that they were both involved in this same ring. Also, this ring is global. It's not a local, like New York, Florida thing. It's global. It's connected to global networks. It's connected to lots of political leaders, and we're seeing that, right? The emails that have come out do show that. That many political leaders around the world were connected to Epy in really significant ways, not in casual ways. Supreme Court, U.S. government, governments of other places, billionaires, right? All connected, all connected. And this is what has to come out. And so, you know, I was told this way back when, that these were the people that finagled the joust, all of these interests, the bad traffic ring, the wealthy merchants, and the leaders of different governments, along with our head villain. And that's coming out more and more. And the more that comes out, the harder it will be for them to stay in position. Because even the, you know, a lot of hardcore supporters are leaving because of this issue. They may have been able to, for some people, this is the line in the sand. They were okay with his essay alleged of like 30 women. They were okay with all of the bankruptcies, with all of the felonies, with all of the corruption and, you know, financial mismanagement. They were okay with a whole lot of things, the racism. But there is a group of people that this is something they just cannot tolerate, is the abuse of children. And so this is a key issue, you know, a key development that's contributing to the further shrinking of the base for the circus. And so it's really important for that reason. Now, oh, you're right. You're right. I just saw this. I'm gonna segue to this question in a minute. So let me just finish this thought. The other reason why, of course, it's so important tomorrow is that we're in this cosmically, we're also in this period of time where we're having the rise of the divine feminine. We're having women come forward and speak out and step fully into their power. And all of these women survivors who are the ones that made this happen, who've been speaking out. And Virginia, you know, writing a whole book. She filed so many lawsuits. She spoke to so many reporters. And then so many other women now speaking out, some of them have been speaking out for a while. And now this new woman in West Palm. All right, this is also, you know, the greater spiritual significance of this is the rise of the divine feminine. And the rise of the divine feminine, one of the ways that we know it's happening is, you know, there's a few ways, but one is that women are refusing to get married anymore. They're refusing to have children, but also they're speaking out about SA, and they're speaking out about PDFery. And these bad traffic rings are not going to be able to stay in place once the patriarchy crumbles. And so this is the kind of bigger picture of the significance of these Epy Files as well. All right, so now we have a question about 3iAtlas again. You're right, Mille Noir. It was, or is that Mademoiselle Noir? Was it Avi Loeb who suggested 3iAtlas might be sick? Yes, I couldn't remember where I had heard it from. You're right. He had an article in Medium where he said, oh, maybe it's seeding planet Earth. Although I can't remember what his what he meant by that, but you're right. That's where I heard it. And that's why I didn't get that language, because then I would have suspected I got it from him. Oh, this person, Agid, says that it's already Friday in Australia. So has the meteor happened here? That's a good question. I don't know. Time is tricky when it comes to spirit. They don't have time, and we have our, time. Okay. So, I guess let's keep our eyes open and see, is there a meteor shower happening? Because when I asked them if I could share it, they said yes, because then when people see it, they'll know. That'll be like a confirmation. Yeah. So yeah, Ray's astrophotography also mentions seeding. You're right. I do remember that now. I do like following him. His is a great channel to watch. Oh my goodness. Mademoiselle Noir just gave me a huge donation. I so appreciate that. Also, Lisa, I wanted to say how much I appreciate you, your spirit, your service, your generous heart. Thank you for being a grounding element in the world. Oh, thank you. When I click on these things, I don't know what they're going to say. But that was very kind of you, Mademoiselle Noir. It's so kind. Okay, I might have missed. Okay. Oh, I got 2 gifts from the same person. Mademoiselle Noir gave me 2 gifts. That's very kind of you. All right, maybe I'll stop talking again for a minute and see if there are any questions I can answer. People are talking about star seeds. Oh, yeah. So Tammy Sea Salts says they also seeded Mars and Venus and will affect Jupiter. Yes. I don't know if, again, seeded, I'm assuming that's the same thing that I saw, but they did tell me that they were particularly interested in each of those planets. They didn't specifically tell me they were sending anything to those planets, so I can't really confirm that, but it feels right, like with somewhat clear cognizance. That feels right. It feels true. Someone asked, what is a star seed? Carol Rivers. A star seed is a person who has origins in another star system, and there's 2 different kinds of star seeds. You can either be someone who your soul incarnated elsewhere, and then you came to Earth for the first time, or your people sent you here basically, and your soul decided to incarnate here. And star seeds I've seen 2 main purposes. I've worked with a lot of people as a akashic records reader, and the star seeds that I've met tend to have one of 2 purposes. Either they came here to collect data to send back to their home planet, or they came here to help humanity evolve, to help us in our raising our consciousness. The other kind of star seed is the actual physical hybrid, and that's where you actually have DNA from another star system, and you're human, but you also have DNA from another planet, because you actually are a hybrid. And that's where someone gets abducted, they get impregnated with a hybrid fetus, and then the child looks human. I'm a star seed, but I have hybrid DNA, and they look human, but they don't. They have some traits that are not human, and they come here to help with the, raising the consciousness of the planet. Oh, this person said their name, that I was mispronouncing their name, is Aki. It's Gaelic. Oh, okay. So AI. So for people, if you want to talk to this person, it's Aki. AIGI is Aki. Good to know. Does that mean you're Irish? Interesting. Here's an interesting comment by Netrabakineru. I'm sorry, I'm probably saying your name wrong. I'm not convinced that all of these beings in leadership are human or even have souls. I have heard that theory that some of them are not, that they are, well, oh, actually, I can speak to that. It's hard to remember all the stuff I'm told by my guides, but I was told quite a while ago that Starboy, and that's why I call him that, is a star seed. He is not fully human. He is not from here. He's a hybrid. And that's why he's been able to accrue the wealth he has, because he has a certain advantage. It's not because he's a genius. He's not a genius. He just has access to certain knowledge that other humans don't have access to. And he is a lot. They did tell me he was aligned with kind of some nefarious star beings who were trying to get control, and they were trying to do it through the circus. And so, yeah, I was told there was an element of that, because now I think I've heard other people talking about it, that different theories about, demonic beings. I also get information about that. They do work with demonic beings. The circus does. They do work with that type of energy. But it predates them. So there was already that energy in DC that's been used by different people over the history of our country. And we can kind of understand that, right? Because we have this history of G-side, right? Many, many millions of my people killed. And then we also have slavery, which is another demonic activity, right? Also my people. And so it makes sense that there's a history of people in power associating themselves with these type of beings in order to engage in really horrendous acts, right, of evil. And so, another way that happens is that sometimes they're working with beings from other places who are um, have their own agendas. Mm. Okay, I'm just looking for other questions. Stop Bill to kill wolves. It passed the house. Okay, I didn't hear about this, Madam Barbara Papa. I don't know what that is. But maybe you could tell us. Is this a good thing? Did they pass a law to stop killing wolves? Or did they stop that bill from passing? Which one? Yeah. So yeah, crystalline mirrors. Yeah, that's what I got, that there were those as well. Now, we don't have to worry about that though. Oh, Mara says I didn't see her question. Okay, let me try to find it. Sorry, I missed it. Let's see. Oh, this is a different person. Rebecca, thank you so much. Your words keep me hopeful. Thank you. Okay. I'm trying to find your super chat question. Oh, now I already forgot. Now I already forgot the name I'm looking for. Okay, let me find the name. Usually it lights up. So this person, Mara Alexandru, has a question that I've somehow missed. So I'm looking for it. Mara Alexandru, it should be lit up so I can see it. Okay, it must be way back. So just scrolling back. Yeah, that's the nice thing about the super chat, is it makes it really hyper visible for me so I can see your question And somehow it did not work this time because I'm not seeing it. Here it is. Okay. Sorry I missed you, Mara Alexandru. I'm new here. Love it. What are your beliefs on aliens living here on Earth, perhaps underwater? Yeah, so I was talking about that earlier. You might have come in later. Yeah, so there are these beings living. So yeah, there are a lot of beings on Earth who are not human. There are, starseed hybrids who just look like everybody else, and so we can't see them. But there are also beings who are existing in different dimensions, and that's why only some people can see them. And then, yes, there are beings that live under the ocean. Some of the beings here that we think of as animals are actually aliens. So, like octopus and squid, octopi, octopuses. I think it's actually octopuses. They're not from here. Um, there are also a certain kind of being that I'm related to that look kind of like dragons or dinosaurs, but they're like half human, half so kind of reptilian, but good reptilian. Like, and they're peacemakers, and they live under the earth. And then there are beings that live in the water. And those beings that live in the water are actually the ones that 3iAtlas is communicating with. Those are the ones that are actually those are the ones they're really talking to. They're and what I said earlier that you might have missed is that we are not the main species on planet Earth. We are not the apex predator or whatever we think we are, the top dog, whatever. It's actually the beings in the ocean that are the dominant. I don't know if dominant is the right word. They've been here the longest. They're the most intelligent. They're the most evolved. And what they were reminding me, that I'll just repeat here since you may have missed it, and some people who are in here now may have missed what I said early on in the hour, is that this is a water planet. This is not a land planet. This is a water planet that has islands of land. And we, as landlubbers, we think of this as a land planet that has bodies of water. And we don't understand most of the bodies of water. We don't know what's in them. We can't live in them. We don't know how to survive in them, and we don't understand them. But this is a water planet. And so most of the beings that live on planet Earth live in the water. And we're unfamiliar with most of them. And some of them are extremely highly evolved, more evolved than us. And they're the ones that are actually communicating with 3iAtlas. They're not really here for us, but they're here for them. Okay. Oh, and thank you, Kay Stewart, for reminding people to hit the like button. And also, if you want to buy me a coffee, you can scan that little QR code in the corner with the duck. Oh, okay. Here's someone's commentary about shutting down the house. According to Four Wagging Tails, these very cute dogs, shutting down the house gets the R's out of town, so they can't comment on the Epy Files release. Yeah, that was part of it. Part of it was to try to prevent the ACA extension, and part of it is, we don't want to talk about the files or do anything about the files. Like if they're trying to not release them tomorrow, that may be why they did that too. Okay. Someone's walking their dog with us. Hey, Amanda. Hey, Amanda's dog. Okay. So here's a good question. Does shutting down the house affect the Epy release? It should not, because it's not the house that was going to release it. It's the administration, right? The Department of Justice. That's who has to release it. It's the House that passed the bill to tell them that they have to release it. Now, prior to that, they had also subpoenaed it. The difference with it now is that now that it's a bill that's been passed, if they don't release it, it's now a criminal charge. it's now something that could be prosecuted. It's illegal for them to not release it. Now, we know that they don't really believe in the law, so that, may not deter them. But um, um, here's someone I'm going to disagree with. Spiritual hacks. Oh, they're asleep. Look at Hakeem. Right. Well, actually, Hakeem Jeffries is the person that put forth the discharge petition today to get the ACA subsidies extended. So, they are doing things. Some of them are doing things. We don't always know what they're doing, but everyone's not just rolling over. People are fighting. Um, I agree with you, Epinardian Guardian. I'm tired of going through the tower moments. Aren't we all tired of going through the tower moments? Yeah. Okay. So it's getting, I've been in here almost 2 hours, so I think I'm going to close it down. And there was a request for a meditation. I do sometimes do meditations, but I'm still recovering from this, um, whatever I have. And so I'm going to try to not stay on here too long. I still have to finish baking. Is this another question from David Hayes? Thank you for the super chat. So do star seeds need us to go through all of this fertilizer for them to bloom? No, they don't. Star seeds don't need that. It's humans that need it. This is just the way that we're choosing to evolve, is through the fertilizer. So I'm going to call it, I think I'm going to call it a night. I'm just trying to make sure I acknowledged everyone who sent me a super chat. I really appreciate you all. Thank you for being here and coming on. You are a unique, calming being, and it helps. I was going to say the same thing about all of you. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for being a part of this community. We're all in this together. And, what gives me strength is knowing what my ancestors went through. And we all have ancestors who've been through a lot more than we have. Even if you don't know who they were, so many of our ancestors had to go through so much in order to survive. And because they were willing to go through what they went through, we're here because of that, because of their strength, because of their courage, because of their perseverance. And so when I think things are getting really bad, I tell myself I owe it to my ancestors to find a way to get through this. And it's the least I can do to thank them for what they went through. And so, I'm going to tell a quick little story about that. When I was in grad school, grad school can be brutal. And I have a couple of degrees. And so I was in grad school for a while. And during one of them, or maybe both of them, things would sometimes get very challenging. And my guides, they would always implant this mantra in my head, and it was from a Maya Angelou poem. And it was this line in one of her poems that said, "I am the hope and the dream of the slave." And that would always come into my head. And I would say, I can't fail because I have ancestors who survived slavery so that I could be here. And they had dreams. They had dreams about their descendants, what they would be able to do in their freedom. And so we all have to remind ourselves, regardless of who your ancestors were, they went through some things, and we owe it to them to find a way to go through this and to, rise above and endure and, keep our hope up. And so I'm going to leave you with that thought. And I will see you again soon. Oh, David has a last comment to make. Our ancestors built the roads from nothing, and we grumble about the cost to maintain them. Exactly. Our ancestors built so many roads of persistence, right? Um, they did so much so that we could be here, and so we can do this. We got this. We can do this. Um, we can do it. We're doing it, and we're gonna be okay. It's not easy. It's not fun, but we have what it takes to persist. And so remember that. And I will see you next time.